Sorry I'm a little late. Had all conference call this morning with schools, so really excited for our football team accomplishing a goal that they set out to be conference champs and now to head into the national playoffs. Excited for the opportunity for us to be at home here for the first game and opportunity to play on at home after that. Certainly well deserved through the way we've played through the season, and so looking forward to starting the new season, as they say when you head into the playoffs.
Wofford, go ahead.
Morning, Coach. How are you?
Good.
Just a few from me today. Coming into the season, there were definitely some questions surrounding the defense with a few big departures and some new transfers coming in and all that. Were you surprised to see them flourish as effectively as they did and turn into one of the top units in the country?
No, I knew we had some good leadership on that side of the ball. I knew we had a good staff. Up front, obviously that group very experienced, and they've played that way. Played at a super high level. In the back end with the experience that we had coming back there, provided great leadership there, and we knew Gary Bryant had a chance to become one of the best linebackers in the league, and the group we added around him has helped to complement him, and so from a defensive standpoint, I'm not surprised. Certainly, really pleased with the way that we've played and the way that we've developed, and have a chance now to carry that into the playoffs.
Looking specifically at that back end and the secondary, with the mix of leaders that you guys had coming back with Dennis, Shaheed, some of those new guys like Mike Reed, just what led them to be as effective as they were this year?
Well, I think they understand our scheme, and and Dennis and JoJo, and I put Tevin McKelvey in that group, playing that stud backer, another safety type position. Three very experienced guys that really understand what we're doing defensively. Getting Shaheed back early on in the season as an experienced corner, and then adding to that group with Mike Reed, who brought in a lot of experience of his own. You look at that across the board, and we're playing out of those five positions. We're playing four seniors and a junior, and all of whom have a lot of games under their belt. So, I think their ability to lead from the back end and their consistency has been a big part of our defense.
Thanks, Coach.
Alex, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, two of your closer games this year have been against the two state schools. How does that kind of help your team prepare for the playoffs ahead?
Well, one thing I've learned from all my years being in the playoffs is you got to be ready for all different types of games. You got to be ready for low-scoring defensive games. You got to be prepared to be in games where you got to score a few more points. You got to be prepared for games where you got to find a way to close it out. You got to be prepared for games where you may have to come from behind. The more of those kinds of situations that you play in, the better. And our league has forced us to play some tough games, to be in some difficult situations, and have to respond to those. And I think that definitely helps prepare you for what you might see in the playoffs.
And then just last one for me. There was no question coming into the season you guys could run the ball, but how happy are you with how balanced your offense has become over the season?
Really pleased. I challenged our offensive staff in the offseason to find ways to we felt we had to be more explosive, utilize our perimeter players more, and as a result of that, find ways to streamline our run game. And I think right now, system-wise, we've been able to do that. We've got definitely better balance than we did a year ago. the ability to stretch the field from sideline to sideline and vertically, more so than we did a year ago, which has helped make our running game more efficient.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
And Jay Elson, go ahead.
Hey, Coach.
Jay?
What'd you think of your draw?
I didn't know. I didn't know how the committee would sort that out. Was I surprised that we stayed 4? No. I didn't know how they deal with the head-to-heads. The Portland State losing that game and one less win, I knew was going to factor in. The fact that they use all those different metricses and the fact that, we didn't play Missouri State in the league that had, a pretty, pretty good record, I thought, might hurt us a little bit in comparison. And so was I surprised that we were 4? Not really. Would I have been surprised if we were 2 or 3? I guess not really either, but shook out kind of the way it shook out. I didn't know how the first round matchup, was going to work. Obviously, the seeding of going down all the way to 16 is new. But I think the one thing that surprised me is the fact that, Drake ended up in our side of the bracket. Obviously, they got a win against Tarleton State, but typically, I know they try to avoid those kind of matchups where you potentially would have the ability to to play a team again. But I know that was a long answer to your question, but I've learned one thing in the playoffs: doesn't make any difference where you're slotted. You got to beat everybody anyway. So.
What, as you look at it from the lenses that you're going to be looking at it, what do you think of that matchup between Tarleton and Drake?
Drake's going to have to go on the road. I think that's going to make it really tough. They've demonstrated, that they can beat scholarship teams this year. They went out and won a game at Eastern Washington, but Tarleton, a team that's got a lot of skill. Offensively and play good defense. So, I think it's always hard. It's always tough to win on the road in the playoffs. Just like I talk about our league all the time, how hard it is to win on the road. So, the one, I guess, advantage, for us, if you want to talk about advantages, is the fact that we've already broken down one of the 2 teams that we could potentially play and have some semblance of a game plan and what worked and what didn't work. Our GAs who are always working ahead in an advanced standpoint got a little bit of their work done here this week that otherwise they'd be doing.
I didn't get a chance to ask you Saturday, so just the emotions of that last 4 minutes. I can't even imagine what you were. It was quite a blast to the ticker, I'm sure, for you, but it kept everybody on the edge of their seats. So just from your perspective, what was that experience like for you? And knowing what the end result, not only just winning a football game, but what it got you and what box it checked for your program and all that you guys have been kind of striving for.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'll answer the second part first. I thought it showed tremendous character by our team. When they put that ball in the end zone to go up 2 scores with 4 or 5 minutes left there, it would have been very easy just to say, hey, not going to happen. And, we knew we were going to have to make a drive and score relatively quickly to be in a position to get the ball back. Got all the way down to 4th down there in the first series of downs, made a play. And so from my standpoint, honestly, it was more about, okay, making sure I'm communicating situationally. Number one, that 4th down's a go. Once we get down in there and score, it's all about, okay, what we're going to do on the kickoff. are going to kick it deep, trust our defense, try to get some field position, and then how to manage the clock with our timeouts. Trying to think ahead and not get caught up in the moment from a decision standpoint. But when we got the ball in the end zone, I'll have to admit, it was for the go-ahead touchdown. There was a lot of emotion. Making sure we knew what we were going to do from a kickoff standpoint, but knowing that we were in firm control to close that out and accomplish the goal of winning the conference championship.
Obviously, it doesn't. Still a lot to come, and even more important, football to be played. But what does an emotional high like that do for you as you get ready for the postseason?
Well, I think it gives us momentum going into the playoffs. You always want to go into the playoffs off a win as opposed to off a loss. And a chance to keep building forward. And, we're going to shorten this week a little bit from a practice standpoint. We're going to practice early in the week. We're actually going to give our guys off the Thanksgiving holiday and Friday, that are local enough can run home after practice on Wednesday and spend a day at home and have Thanksgiving dinner at home, and then come back in a position where we'll know who we're playing and get to work early in preparation. So there's some things we can do this week to help advance that, but we got a few guys that are banged up. That was a really physical football game Saturday, as you would expect when you play North Dakota State and play a game that has conference championship meaning, and to get some guys back to full health over the course of this week and get some rest in them will be valuable as well.
Got to ask about Javion because, obviously it's a guy that, it's a little bit further down the pecking order with the way that the rotations worked out this year, and hadn't had a ton of catches. 3 catches, 79 yards. But not just 3 catches, 79 yards. Those 3 catches in those moments, like what can you possibly say about, that's a never forget kind of few minutes for him.
Yeah.
And for your program.
One of our 3 core value things we talk about in our program is team first. If you see our guys, they're probably all wearing a white bracelet with red lettering on it that says team first. And Javion's a perfect example of a guy that's put the team first. A guy that I'm sure would like to be, playing more snaps, having more balls thrown his way. But he's just put his head down. He's been working. He's taken advantage of the opportunities that he's had in the games that we've played. And as that game sorted out, was put in a position where we needed him to make some big catches. And the 2 catches that he made on their sideline, not just the touchdown catch, but the 2 catches that he made down their sideline, once in the drive that got us back within a score, and then the one where he toe tapped on the touchdown drive, were really tough catches where he had to use his length and his body control. And the touchdown one was the easy one, honestly, when he was wide open. But I think, it just shows kind of the mentality of our team that the most important thing is winning the game. And we've had a lot of guys, not just Javion, but we've had a lot of guys this year that have been asked to step forward, whether it's due to an injury or play in unique situations. I can go down the list, and guys on offense and defense that, whether it's a situation where guys have had to start games because guys have been out, or have come off the bench to play big roles. That's been a key for us, and I think shows the unselfishness of our football team.
All right. Congrats, Coach. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Jay.